what each was like till live inside a medieval castle. Before the morning sun touches the fields, before birds begin their hesitant songs, and long before the first door cracks open in the village below, the castle stirs. It begins with a bell, not the kind made for beauty or ceremony, but a thick bronzy mouth hanging near the chapel wall, struck not by chimes but by duty. The bell does not sing, it calls, slowly, deeply, a vibration more than a sound, one that seems to move through the stone itself. Inside the walls, the sound drifts into sleeping chambers tucked behind thick tapestries. It creeps beneath wooden doors reinforced with iron bands. It rolls over the straw roofs of servant quarters. It glides across the high beams of the great high. In the dim gray that precedes true light, servants begin to move. Their feet do not echo, they whisper. They are used to moving silently. Heavy stone absorbs footsteps like secrets. The hush is intonal, not audible. Wake the Lord your lady too soon, risk your place. Wake them to latch, you risk your neck. The castle never truly sleeps. Even during the deepest hours of the night, someone is always listening. A guard on the battlements pacing beneath the stars, a kitchen boy tending embers, a priest murmuring Latin in his dreams. But the morning, each is different. The morning is when the castle becomes a bud, every corridor a vein, every servant a pulse. Every breath of fire in the heart's a reminder, this place lives. In the kitchens, the day begins with flowering firewood. Bread is not just baked, each is calculated. The steward counts heads, considers haki. Lords eat white loaves, soldiers eat brown. Peasants, if granted entry for service or labor, are given what is left over, the crust, the heel, the broken. Each is not cruelty, each is custom. In customs are the real motto of any castle. Stone is only half the truth. Water must be hauled, not from wells within the walls, but often from springs outside them. 2 men, one at each end of a wooden yoke, buckets swinging with cold. If they leave before sunrise, they return with mist. A stew clinging to their shoulders. The chapel bell tolls again softer this chime, a reminder for morning prayers. Within the Lady Solar, the maids of honor stow like ghosts. They speak in gestures more than words. Hair must be brushed with broad bristles, hands must be washed with rosy water, dresses must be chosen according to the calendar of saints. The Lord's chamber is not quiet either. His squire has already arrived, folding the heavy cloak that lay like armor across the chair. The boots are cleaned with tallow ash. A sword is leaned against the king, while not for use, but for presence. Even on peaceful days, a blade must be seen. Each is part of the clothing. Meanwhile, in the courtyard, horses shifting their stalls. The stable master has been up for an hour. Muck scraped, water poured, oats divided. The noisy is loud snorts, clunks, the occasional shout, but each is contained. Each never reaches the house, because the castle has layers, not just of stone, but of sound, of warmth, of importance. The great hall is still empty. Soon each will host voices, feet, the clatter of dishes, the murmurs of gossip. But for now, each waits. Long tables, tall windows, flags hanging motionless in the early hush, and above each, always above each, the keep, the heart of the castle, the final refuge, the last stone that stands when all others fall. Each is quiet now, but its presence is felt in every room, like a thought that cannot be ignored. Life inside the medieval castle is not lavish. Each is layered. Each is waking not to luxury, but to hollis. Everyone has a place. Every place has a rhythm. As the sun finally kisses the east tower, golden light spills over the battlements like wine. Guards shift their stance. The cooks add honey, till the morning porridge. A page hurries across the inner yard, cloak trailing behind him like a shadow with purpose. A stew the castle breeds. Each door is not hush. Each door is not shout. Each remembers. Within its stone memory, the day has begun. Till the outsider, a castle is a single thing. A stronghold, a fortress, a massive puzzle of rock shaped into towers in walls, gates in guards. But to those who live within, each is a world of men worlds. There are the visible places, the ones everyone knows, the towers that scrape the sky, the gaterrose that groans with the weight of iron bars, the banners that flap with family colors. But there are also hidden places, quiet pockets of stone that no map records, stairwells that spiral into nothing, arched doorways that led to locked chambers, unopened for years. Some doors, they say, open only when the castle wants them to. Life within the walls is not measured by clocks, but by rituals. The second hour of the day brings movement, controlled, deliberate movement. Kitchen servants push carts of salted pork and dried apples through corridors still half dark. The laundry mistress counts linens before the wash is lowered into caidros outside. Steam begins to arise from behind the kitchens, calling into the air like a slow incense. Children of the household Sozi, daughters of knights and nobles, are already in study, not in chairs, but on benches, not with pencils, but with wax tablets. Latin verses are mouthed silently. A yawning boy receives a gentle cuff behind the ear. A girl with clever eyes recites genealogy with perfect poise. Education is not like it. Each is law. A small alcove near the southern curtain, while the obelisk tends to her roots. She is older than most remember, her fingers twisted like branches, her breath short, but her knowledge is feared, respected. Sage for sore throats, lavender for restlessness, nettle for blood. She speaks to no one, yet no one dares move her. Meanwhile, the great hall awakens. Torches are lit, despite the growing sun. The air inside is always a little damp. Banners hang on thick cords, motionless. Each bears a symbol, a lion, a hawk, a stag, bloodlines woven in thread, ancestry held in cloth. At the high table, the steward makes notches with a feathered quill. He tracks grain stores, wine barrels, the delivery of wax from the nearby monastery. These records matter more than poetry. They are the bones of the castle. Above the steward's head, the rafters stretch like ribs. High, dark wood crossed with idle bolts. Swallows nest in spring, bats visit autumn. The roof is a living thing, and so are the people. Each face in the castle bears a holy redinenta. The lightness of their skin. The washerwoman with wrists made strong from hauling wet cloth. The knight with knees that crack as he bends in prayer. The jester with quiet eyes when no one laughs. The castle does not belong to any one person, not truly. Each belongs to the rhythm, till the rule of seasons, the cycle of tasks, the silent contracts passed through hands rather than words. You know where you stand because someone before you stood there, and someone after you will too. By mid-morning, the bailey echoes with sounds, metal striking metal from the forge, hooves stomping the earth in the training yard, the clang of practice swords. Knights and squires sweat beneath the sun. They do not fight for glory, they fight for readiness. War is not near, but neither is peace ever permanent. Near the outer curtain, a group of masons work slowly, smoothing a crack in the wall, stone on stone, chisel in chant. Aestonemazon sings a hymn beneath his breath, not for faith but for rhythm. His hands know the line is better than his lips. Inside the legacy chamber, needlework begins. Hands young and old move out of cloth, shaping swans, stars, branches. Patterns handed down, taught in silence. Day of the needle is day of presence. There is no rushing, there is only doing. The castle does not applaud, each does not scold, each endures. In return, those who live within each become like each, strong, steady, a little cold on the outside, but filled with stories etched in silence. The sun climbs higher now, shadows shift along the inner walls, windows begin to glow. The chapel doors open for a brief prayer, and the faint smell of incense floats through the corridor, mixing with the aroma of boiled barley and sweet bread from below. The day is in motion, not fast, not loud, but unbroken, because inside the castle, Chimido is not gallop, it circles. By the chimney the sun is at its peak. The castle is warmed not just with light, but with labor. Stone absorbs heat slowly, and releases it slower as stew. Corridors once wrapped in morning chill now hold a faint golden breath. The sounds of work echo faintly in the distance, metal on wood, murmured orders, boots on flagstones. But midday is sacred. Each is the pause between effort and endurance. Yet the center of that pause is the feast. Not a lavish one, not always. Contrary to stories, most meals in the castle are not endless spreads of meat and song. They are structured, ordered, a ritual in itself. In the great hall, long wooden tables are being scrubbed with cloth soaked in vinegar and herbs. The scent sharpens the air. Plates of pewter and wooden trenchers are laid in precise patterns. No tuari kit alike. Age, use, and carving give each its own memory. At the high table, raised slightly above the rest, a carved chair awaits the lord of the castle, beside each, one for the lady, their children if a vage sit ye descending order, hierarchy is everywhere, even ye seating, candles flicker, despite the daylight. Their purpose now is not to fight darkness, but to remind all present, this is ceremony. From the kitchens come the dishes, in rhythm, first, potage thick with barley, onions, perhaps a sliver of ham or eel, depending on what the steward allowed. Then, 3 sheets of coarse bread, meant to be eaten or left to soak the juices of richer fat. Roasted fowl may follow, not every day, but today. A pheasant, perhaps, a wild duck, laid on leaves sprinkled with herbs from the castle garden. Ali flows, not wine. Wine is reserved for occasions, or for the very noble. Ali is the drink of labor, a routine. The Lord arrives not first, but last. His entrance signals silence, not because he demands it but because his presence carries the weight of order. He does not shout, he does not hush. He simply arrives, and the castle shifts accordingly. A prayer is spoken not loudly, but clearly. And the eating begins. There are no forks, only knives and fingers. Napkins are rare. Etiquette is performed more through posture than polish. Servants weave through the rows like silent birds, refilling, removing, replacing. Conversation hums, sorting circular. Stories are told, names are remembered. News from the outside world delivered by messengers, monks, or merchants is shared. There is laughter, but each is measured. In a corner, the minstrel plays a low melody on a stringed instrument, not for attention, but for texture. A hound lies, cold beneath a table, hoping for scraps. Children whisper games beneath their breath, carving imaginary castles into the grains of the wood. The feast ends not with dessert, but with silence. Another prayer, then standing. The Lord and Lady rise. First, their departure signals the dissolving of the gathering. Chairs scrape, boots scuff. The noise is respectful, not rushed. Outside, the sun continues its arc. Inside, dishes are gathered, leftovers are accounted for. Bones are sent to the dogs, or the pigpies. Crumbs are swept into corners to be gathered later by servants or rats, whichever comes first. The great hall empties, but each does not feel abandoned. Each feels exhaled. The meal is over, but the castle continues. There is stew wood till chop, wool till card, letters till write, weapons till clean, candles till pour, bread till rise for tomorrow. And so the silence of the afternoon begins dacing slow, the kind of silence that only places built from patience can hold. After the meal, the castle falls into a quieter rhythm. Not rest, never full rest, but the kind of measured work that requires more thought than foresight. The kind that exists in the hours when the sun begins to lean westward, casting elongated shadows across the stone walls. The servants retreat to their assigned quarters or tasks. Some head toward the buttering pantry, where stores must be checked, and bread counted. Others gather in the open yard to wash wooden bowls and iron basins, water carried from cisterns that smell faintly of mossy idle. In the lagiesse solar, the air is filled with the soft hiss of embroidery threads sliding through linen. The women speak in low voices, their words careful, as if stitched with the same precision they give to their tapestries. Flowers, saints, falcons, vines, patterns pastel through generations. One might take a month, others a year. Yet, the stitching never stops. Each is their contribution to memory, to beauty, to inheritance. Outside, the bailey is busy once more. Squires practice mounted maneuvers in slow loops around the paddock, adjusting their grip, their posture. Their instructors walk beside them, not riding, but observing with a sharpness that misses nothing. A turned heel, a slack rein, a drifting gas, each corrected not with cruelty, but with the repetition of expectation. On the trainee field, wooden swords meet wooden shields with hollow tudges. The clack of practice weapons reverberates through the courtyard like a slow drumbeat. No blood is drawn, but the bruises are real. Pain is part of the learning. So is silence. Near the outer, while the blacksmith labors, his forge breathes smoking sparks with each blow of the hammer. The bellows wheeze, pulled by a boy no older than 10, his arms trembling from effort. Metal meets metal. Iron is folded, shaped, quinchede. A horse shoeed, a latch there. Occasionally, a blade, but not today. The scent of scorched idol blends with the distant sweetness of beeswax in the damp musk of hay from the stables. These smells belong to the castle as much as the walls or people. One does not notice them unless they vanish. Then their absence is jarring. In the scriptorium, a small chamber near the chapel, two monks copy texts by candlelight. They do not belong till the castle, but till the church. Yet they are always ready, always writing, always bent low over ink in vellum. Theirs is a different kind of labor, one that leaves behind no sweat, no smoke, only ideas. Meanwhile, the Lord meets with his seneschal in a private alcove behind the hall. They speak in quiet tones about matters most within the castle will never know: tribute owed by neighboring lands, the price of grain from distant ports, the health of the outer defaces, the loyalty of lesser knights. The castle is not only a home, each is a small kingdom. Like all kingdoms, each must be maintained not only by strength, but by judgment. Even the castle healer has worked this hour. Her chamber smells of mint and vinegar, wounds from training are washed, poultices are applied, remedies are whispered. The sick, the sorry, the curious all pass beneath her eyes, and none leave unchanged. Her table holds bones, jars of crushed bark, flasks of yellow jewel. Her reputation is quiet, but unshakable. And while all this unfolds, the castle itself continues its vigil. The towers stretch upward, the walls hold firm, the stairs coil like ribs around the bones of the keep. Dust shifts from beam till beam. Sunlight warms the west-facing stones, illuminating flecks of mica in the mortar. A cat darts across a corridor. A pigeon coos in the rafters. A guard, half bored, shifts his spear from one hand till the other. The afternoon does not pass quickly. Each stretches, but no one wishes each shorter, because within this lull, this carefully balanced stretch of time, there is room till be, till work, till think, till mend. Even for a place built for protection, there must be softness. Each lives in these hours. By the time the sun begins to descending, stretch the shadows across the inner courtyards. The pace inside the castle changes once again. Each is not evening yet, but each is no longer afternoon. This all belongs to transition. The workers of the day still move about, but their motions have slowed. The air holds a different weight, a softness that invites quieter tasks and cooler thoughts. The clanging of swords and grunts of training are replaced by the muddy rhythmic sounds of sweeping, scrubbing, and folding. In the kitchens, preparation for the evening meal begins, not as grand as midday as a feast, but necessary. Soups are stirred, bones are boiled, and vegetables sorted. Peas, beans, leeks. If the season is kind, perhaps a handful of apples or a clutch of berries will be baked into a simple tart. The fires, which never truly died, are coaxed back to life with practiced hands. Sparks rise like fireflies into the blackened chimney shafts. The kitchen boys and scullery maids know their roles by instinct. Few words are spoken. Instructions are carved into routine. Elsewhere, the armory is locked for the day. A steward checks inventory, a row of spears, shields stacked neatly, helms polished by young squires until they reflect dim torchlight. No sword is out of place. No link of shine mail left unchecked. War is never far, even in times of peace. In a sleeping sword, existiu a soldier as companion. Above, in the tower chamber reserved for the Lord's private prayers, a candle is lit. The flame dances on the stone walls, casting distorted shadows of the carved crucifix in small wooden icons resting on a worn table. The Lord bends his head, not as ruler, but as man. His words are silent, his hands clasped. Outside, the wine begins to pick up. It creeps through arrow slits and cracks in the mortar, tugging gently at wall tapestries and creeping along the stone floors. A storm may be coming, or maybe just the chill of night. Either way, clocks are drawn tight in hearts rekindled in private chambers. On the parapetes, guards change shifts. The new men climb the stone stairs with slow determination, nodding briefly till those their place. They carry spears in small lanterns. Their eyes scan the hills beyond the curtain. Wow, there is nothing but trees and birds in the distant outline of smoke from a peasant hearth. But still they watch. They always watch. In the chapel, the final prayers of the day are offered. A monk, robed in wool, chants in a low voice. A few castlefolk kneel beside him, those with piety, or perhaps guilt, or simply a desire for stillness. The stone absorbs their voices. The candle flames waver as if responding to the rhythm. Outside the chapel doors, the castle cat calls on. A warm patch of cobble, butireide by reason. The lady of the castle takes her walk through the inner garden. not large, but enough to hold herbs, a small bench, and a view of the western sky. She carries a shawl. Her steps are slow, deliberate. The sky is turning apricot and lavender. A lone swallow flies overhead. Even the livestock are quieter now. In the outer yard, the stable master closes the gates and lays feed for the horses. A donkey brays once. The chickens murmur their confusion before sleep. A piglet snorts in protest. All of each is familiar. All of each is necessary. And through all this the stones breathe. The castle adjusts to twilight the way a tree adjusts to wind. Not in pieces, but as a whole. Each groans gently. Each leans into the change of light. Each holds on to heat just a little longer. Each listens. The evening bells do not ring. There is no need. Everyone already knows. The day has moved on. A night is coming. As the last colors of the sunset disappear beyond the treetops in the western hills, the castle enters its most delicate state. The hush between the last echo of day and the first breath of true night. Twilight does not linger in a castle. The thick stone walls swallow it too quickly. In the outer world, dusk stretches across the landscape like a shawl pulled gently over the fields. But within these walls, each is different. Darkness arrives not with warning, but all at once. One moment there is the glow of fading light through narrow windows. In the next, there is only the flicker of flame. Torches are lit by the stewardess boys, one by one, along the corridors. Each flame mirrors the next, casting long vertical shadows that shiver on the walls like ghosts of the day. Wax drips slowly, marking the hours more honestly than any sundial ever could. In the main hall, the fire is stirred back to full life. Its roar is not loud, but each is full thick with warmth and the scent of ashen oak. The evening meal is served not with grandeur, but with calm necessity. Soup, bread, perhaps a slice of dried meat if the larder allows, cheese harjastone, ali, watered slightly, honey if any remains from the harvest, and above all, quiet. The great high dims, even as the fire glows brighter. No songs are sung now, not unless a guest demands it. No toasts raised, no declarations. This is not the chimney for spectacle. This is the chimney when the weight of the day settles on the shoulders of the weary, and the stillness of the stone becomes a comfort, not a prison. In private chambers, candles are pinched low, their stubs saved for another day. The lady of the castle is assisted by her handmaid in binding her hair, in removing her outer gown, in slipping beneath the woven blankets. A cup of spiced wine rests on the table beside her. She does not drink it all. The lord checks his sword one final time before bed, not out of paranoia, but out of habit. Each rests beside him, even when he dreams, not because he expects war, but because his duty never sleeps. In the nursery, children lie a row, some fidgeting, others already half asleep. A nurse hums something softly, something ancient, the kind of melody no one remembers learning, but everyone seems to know. Each is not meant to entertain, each is meant to hold. In the servant quarters, bodies curl under coarse blankets, sharing warmth with dogs, with each other, with silence. Above them all, in the tower chambers and guardrooms, watchmen prepare for the long hours. Some pace the battlements, some lean against parapets, staring out into the inky blackness where stars shimmer and the wine carries no messages. Some sit beside fire pits and murmur half-whispered jokes. Others say nothing at all, because there is something sacred about this hour. The castle is vulnerable. Each is also safest. Everything is locked. Everyone is accounted for. Every door bolted. Every torch lit or snuffed with purpose. And yet, the darkness listens. Each listens through cracks in the walls, through open slits in the towers, through the mounds of wells and stairwells. The darkness is not malevolent, but each is vast. Each reminds, all within the castle, that beyond these walls there is more. Forests, wolves, strangers, spirits, if you believe in such things. Even if you don't, your bones is to remember them. But inside there is pattern, order, stone. Inside, there is peace. And so, with the last embers of the kitchen fires, with the finale of the guards, with the creaking of timber, under cold night air, the castle finally exhales. Sleep comes not all at once, not to all equally, but each comes, till the child with one foot out of the covers, till the lady whose candle gutters one last chimney, till the guard who leans against his spear in dreams of fields far from stone, till the rats in the grain room, in the cat who waits to chase them, till the monkey in his cell is still scribbling the last word of the day, till the cookie, who hums in her sleep, till the castle itself, even the walls rest, even the history passes, in night gentle, vast, inevitable folds the castle into its cloak and keeps it until morning. Midnight a medieval castle is unlike any other hour. Each does not feel like a part of the same day. Each lives between the cracks of chimney, floating quietly, softly, like a forgotten breath. The castle at this hour is not entirely asleep, but each is entirely askew. If you walked its house, your steps would echo louder than they should. The torchlight, thin by distance in wind, would flicker like nervous fireflies along the stone. In many places, there would be no light at all, only shadows, deeply layered, folding into each other like the ancient curtains of smoke. The main hall lies empty now, the great hearth dimmed to a bed of quiet coals. Embers pulse in the darkness, their light casting soft halos on the nearest benches. The banners above hang limp, unwoven, their colors invisible in the dark. The air smells of wood smoking wool. The silence it is complete, but not heavy. Each is sacred. In the corridors, only two kinds of figures move, gods and ghosts. The gods walk with care, their armor muffled by cloth, their boots softened with felt. Their breath is visible in the colder months, puffs of silver mist caught in the air before vanishing. They know each creak of the wood, each moan of the stone, and they do not fear them. They nod to each other at the corners, not with words, but with the tilt of a chin or the flick of a torch. In the ghosts, well, if the stories added to be believed, every castle has them. They added the whispering kind, the sigh behind the door kind, the flash of silver in the corner of your eye kind, harmless, mostly, melancholy, always, echoes of knights and ladies, cooks and squires, children and monks, long gone but unwilling to leave. Some say they watch, others say they wait, but few speak of them aloud. In the towers, the wind is constant. Each sings through the arrow slits in high-pitched notches, calling around stone and wood like fingers tracing old scars. Sometimes each sounds like a woman's voice, sometimes like a child, but always each moves, always each remembers. Inside the chapel, a candle may still burn. The monk who tends the night prayers has not slept. He kneels before the altar, hands clasped, eyes closed. His lips move, but no sound escapes. His breath seeks with the flickering flame. Each chimney itself seems still slow around him. In the stable, the horses stir occasionally. One stamps a hoof, another shifts its weight. Their breath rises in faint plumes. A cat calls atop a pile of hay, twitching in its dreams. A mouse dares the floorboards only for a moment before darting back into the dark. Above them, in the solar, the lady of the castle lies still. She is not awake, but she is not deep in sleep either. Her eyes fluttered beneath closed lids, chasing dreams she will not remember. Her fingers twitch against the woven blanket, as if gripping something unseen. A distant owl calls from beyond the walls, and something in her heart responds not with fear, but recognition. In the Lord, he sleeps with one hand on the hilt of his sword. He dreams not of battle, but of voices, of edicts and feasts, of banners raised and laws debated. His rest is shallow, but steady. His duty, even in sleep, does not release him. Beneath them all, the castle breathes. The kitchens, now fully dark, exude the fading smell of onions and hot ash. The escolador cracks once, then settles. A drop of water falls from a pipe into a wooden bowl, over and over, like a heartbeat. In the deepest parts of the castle, the storage rooms, the root cellar, the armory vault, the air is heavy and cold, not from neglect, but from age. These stones have seen too much to be light. They hold centuries within them. They do not sleep. They endure. Midnight passes unnoticed by most. No bells mark it. No one calls out. But in that quietest hour, something important happens. The castle remembers itself, not as a fortress, not as a home, but as a witness, till all that has passed, till all that will come, till the silence that binds them both. As the castle is lumbered beneath the dark blanket of midnight, dreams ripple through its chambers like a slow-moving fog. Though the walls are image of stone, and the floors are solid beneath bare feet, there is something deeply fluid in the hours. Before dawn, something that softens even the hardest places and makes the silence feel alive. In the children's quarters, dreams flicker like a candlelight. One child mumbles in sleep, his fingers clutching the edge of the woolen blanket. Another turns her face into the pillow, murmuring a lullaby half-remembered from who knows as evening hums. Their dreams are scattered in bright fields of flowers, games played in the yard, a wooden horse with painted eyes. Nothing too heavy, just enough to keep the dark foam settling too deep. Elsewhere, the dreams grow heavier. A soldier asleep in the guardroom dreams of a battle he never fought, of a field he never saw. He sees arrows darkening the sky, the shout of command, the crack of metal against bone. Yet when he wakes later, he will not remember it. Only the weight in his chest, the way his hand will linger on the hilt of his blade just a moment too long. In the servant dormitory, the dreams are simpler yet not softer. A cook dreams of fire that one to catch. A steward dreams of ink spilled across the only clean ledger. A schoolady maid dreams of running, but never finding a door that opens. These are not nightmares. They are the echoes. Worries soaked into the fabric of their lives, now rising with the steam of sleep. The Lord dreams in symbols. A stag with golden antlers. A crumbling tower. A faceless crowd chanting a language he does not know. He stirs his bed. Sweat beads on his brow. His sword lies across his chest. He does not wake. The lady dreams of snow. Endless, gentle snow falling upon the castle, covering every stone, every face, every sound. She dreams of walking barefoot through the snow, leaving no footprints. In the dream, she is not cold. She is calm. When she wakes, she will not remember this dream, only the way her fingertips feel colder than usual. In the castle itself dreams. Yes, even stone has memory. In its bones, it remembers the hammer and chisel, the laughter of the first masons, the crack of whips from old construction days, the first fire lit in its hearth, the first shout of joy, the first cry of grief. Each remembers collapses in reconstructions, siege in song. Each dreams not in pictures, but in precious subtle changes in weight in temperature that tell the story of all who have passed through it. In the tower, a guard nearly drifts off. He leans against the wall, blinking slowly. His hand slackens on his spear. A single dream threads into his mind. A cottage, smoke curling from the chimney, the smell of warm bread. He smiles in his sleep, just once, then jolts awake at the sound of a bird calling from beyond the walls. Each is not dawn, but each is coming. The dreams begin till thin, like a mist pulled back by a cautious sun. Eyes flutter open, though sleep still holds their edges. Somewhere, a rooster calls. Not loud, not urgent, just a notch of reminder. Morning waits. But for now, the last of the dreams is slide gently back into the cracks of the stone. They will return tomorrow night, and the night after that, for as long as the castle stands. Each will hold them, each will keep them safe, each will remember, even when no one else does. Morning in a medieval castle does not burst forth with light and noise. It arrives slowly, like warm water poured into a cold cup bit by bit, soft and unhurried, changing everything without a sound. Before the sun touches the towers, the sounds of waking life begin below. It starts in the kitchens, a clatter of pots, a hushed voice muttering about bread, the spark of flint against steel, the soft breath of fire catching wood. Smoke curls upward from the chimney long before light finds the courtyard. The schoolady girls still first, their footsteps light but hurried as they carry buckets from the well. The water is shockingly cold, and their hands tremble slightly as they move each till the basins. One girl hums till herself, just to break the silence. The others follow suit, and soon low laughter fills the air, not from joy exactly, but from habit. Each is the laughter of people who have done this 1,000 times and will do it 1,000 more. The rooster crows again, louder, now. The guard on the western tower stretches his arms, yawns, and squints at the horizon. Each is not golden yet, but each will be. The edge of the world glows faintly, promising a day like any other. Inside the lady's chamber, a maid tiptoes in. She opens the shutter slowly, letting in a stream of pale blue light. The lady stirs. Her dreams are already slipping away, replaced by the familiar rustle of linen, the scent of rose water. She blinks, adjusts her position beneath the covers, and says nothing. In the Lord's chamber, the atmosphere is different. The air is heavier. There is armor on the chair, maps rolled on the table, a servant already kneeling by the fire, coaxing it back to life. The Lord is awake but is still lying still, listening, not till words but till the rhythms of the castle. He hears the clang of the blacksmith's hammer starting in the yard. He hears the goats bleating beyond the walls. He hears his world waking up. E only then does he rise. In the great hall, the hearth is cleaned, fresh wood is added, a new fire grows, slow but steady, benches are wiped, the long table reset, there will be bread, there will be small beer, there will be quiet conversation. As the first meal of the day begins, not breakfast as we know each, but breaking the fast nonetheless. Each is not a feast, each is fuel. Above, the chapel bells ring, not loudly, not joyfully, just enough to call the faithful. A few shuffling, servants, squires, 2 knights returning from patrol. They kneel, they cross themselves, they listen. The prayers are soft, Latin murmured into stone. No one speaks afterward. Outside, the stables come alive. Horses are federação, stalls are swept. A stable boy sings a tune from his village days, and the horses flick their ears as if remembering each tour. A young girl leads a pony into the sunlight, brushing its money with slow, practiced hands. Dust dances in the air, golden and weightless. The courtyard fills. Children run, chasing a dog with a bone. A baker yells for help with the grain sacks. A knight checks his saddle straps. A servant spills a bucket and curses under her breath. Life returns not all at once, but with certainty. The castle, warmed now by the promise of day, begins its work. Letters will be written, wool will be spun, wood will be chopped, orders will be given, and stories will be told over loaves, over armor, over fires. Stories of what happened the night, or what might have happened, or what must never happen again. But underneath each all, the castle remains what it always was, a container for lives, for dreams, for silence, and for sound. Each has woken up, yes, but part of each still sleeps. The stones remember the hush of night. They hold each, even in light, even in noise, because that is what castles do. They keep the quiet, even when no one else can. As the day stretches onward, the castle settles into a rhythm that is both eternal and ever-changing. The bustle of morning gives way to the labor of midday. Each sound, each movement, echoes with layers of repetition. The sharpening of blades, the dragging of hay, the closing of shutters against a rising breeze, till life inside a medieval castle still exists within a cycle, not one of mere chores and duties, but of deeply rooted rituals, ancient and slow. The castle breathes through its people, each sees through their daily habits. In its stone bones, each carries them all forward. In the armory, weapons are inspected. Squires rue leather straps, test arrow tips, polish shimail. A knight checks the balance of his sword not out of vanity, but out of instinct. Readiness is not optional aid. Each is survival, but even this readiness is part of the calm, predictable, grounding. Though in the kitchens, the fires burn stronger now. Porridge has turned into stews. Flatbreads are baked, laid in rows across rough wooden counters. A cook hums an old tune, older than the castle itself. Herbs hang from beams overhead, rosemary, thyme, mint perfume in the air in bursts whenever the wine nudges them. In the hall, a scribe dips his quilly ink and leans over parchment. His fingers are stained, his posture stiff. He does not complain. The Lord has dictated letters, requests for supplies, orders till nearby outposts, invitations till an autumn feasting. The ink will make them law. What is said aloud may vanish. What is written endures. Children chase each other near the chapel steps. Their laughter pelts through the air like wine chimes, sharp, sudden, beautiful. Anusamide watches with one eye, stitching a tunic with the other. Life continues in dozens of tiny, forgettable acts, but the castle does not forget them. In the solar, the lady of the house embroiders quietly. Her fingers move with grace, though her thoughts are elsewhere. Through the stained glass window, sunlight paints colored streaks on the stone floor. She pauses to watch the light shift, not because it is rare but because it is fleeting. In the castle, the fleeting is often the most profound. Afternoon light spills into the courtyard, golden and thick. The dog naps a sunbeam. A carpenter sharpens a tool. Two guards train with blunted swords, grunting with effort, laughing at their own clumsy strikes. Somewhere, a lute plays. Someone sings softly of a faraway land. And overhead, crows circle the tower. They always return, these birds, as if drawn, not till the food scraps but till the memory held in the stones. They are the watchers, witnesses, like the castle itself. By evening, the mood shifts again. The fires are fed anew. Real lamps are lit. Voices grow quieter. The day as labor begins to dissolve into rest.